Shining bright, sunshine in the sky. Megan and Tammy here to testify, spreading love, laughter and good vibes too. The Fat Girl Chronicles, we're breaking through. No more hiding.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Bueno. Bienvenido. My name's tu nombre, Tammy.
And my name is Megan.
And together we are the Fat Girl Flippers. And this is the Fat Girl Chronicles. This is our podcast. Megan's going to tell you a little bit about it. And no, we are not Spanish. We were just being silly.
Yes, although
Like you can tell.
I do like that you can speak Spanish. I wish I could speak Spanish or French. Yeah.
They're very similar languages.
Yeah. Okay, so YouTube. If you are watching us on YouTube, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button and that bell so you know when we are posting. And then if you are listening to us through audio, we are on all mainstream podcasts, Podbean, Apple Music, Spotify, all of those things as well. So make sure you're listening to us there. Comment. We love the comments. We love seeing the comments. So feel free to comment your thoughts or opinions or ideas for podcast topics if you want to hear us talk about something. So yeah.
Ooh, I'm having a hot flush.
Are you?
Yes, I feel like I'm going to turn the same color as my shirt.
You don't look it. I heard hot flashes, though, are the worst.
It starts down the bottom of my back and it creeps up.
Really?
Yeah, and it's not a good feeling.
Is there like do you want the cool air on or anything?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
I'm all right.
All right.
So you gave the spiel
Yeah.
of all our podcasts and things. Today,
We are out of our friggin' minds, apparently.
we're getting. This is like a marathon. We're just running a marathon today. So just so you know, this podcast is going to talk about how we think our lives will look in 5 years' time. And when I say how our lives will look, I mean financially, romantically, physically, where you live, the whole bit, and how our world may look.
Okay. So you want to go first?
I haven't really thought about it. Well, that's why it kind of just came to me impromptu, but it's a good topic.
Okay. It is.
Anybody who knows me knows that my objective is to get out of this damn chair. So, I'm on step 2 of the long 5-year plan.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm working towards getting my knees fixed and being able to walk again. And I hope that will happen in the next 5 years. As far as my personal life, that's interesting.
Before you get into that, did they say, like, when you're talking to the doctors and stuff, have they given you, like, an estimate how long things, like your knee surgery would take, physiotherapy would take?
Well, I have to wait 1 year after the
Right.
bariatric surgery to see exactly where I'm at with the weight loss.
Right.
And then we go into I believe that I've already been referred to the occupational or the orthopedic surgeon.
Right.
And it will be up to him because he'll have to either measure or look at my legs and see if they are of a size that will fit into their robotic
Okay.
arm, which is the objective.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, I'm not holding out a lot of hope for that, but
Yeah.
it'll be a miracle if that happens because the biggest lipomas on my body are all around my knees.
Okay.
So, and the facts are that you don't lose lipoma fat, you only lose the extra fat, non-lipoma fat.
Right.
So if that's the case, I mean, there's a possibility there's some non-lipoma fat around my knees, but it won't be
What they need.
I I don't think so, but I guess I'm holding out for a miracle.
Right. Fair. That's fair. Okay.
I mean, I'm guessing everybody who is in a chair would love to walk again.
Yeah.
It's not an experience that I would wish on my worst enemy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's difficult. So the goal, so in 5 years, you're thinking
If it's going to happen, it will happen within the 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of exciting
Yeah.
and nerve-wracking.
Yeah, and the odds are not in
your
my favor, but I'm trying to, as everybody says, try to get out of the negativity part of your brain.
Yeah. I do think there's something, like, I like this topic because I do feel that there is something about manifesting, and we've talked about it on the podcast, like manifesting, putting things out into the universe, that sort of thing. And so, you know, if you continue to tell yourself, I'm never going to get out of this chair, then it definitely won't happen.
Nope.
You know, even if there was a sliver of a chance.
I fought so hard to get this bariatric surgery that I didn't even want. But I fought hard for it because I knew that it was part of the plan, and if I didn't do it, they won't even look at me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, to go through a surgery, it was rough. 5 years, though.
And would you want, like, obviously the goal would be, like, fully out, but even to just have, like, some mobility.
Yeah, I would be happy to have enough mobility that I could, let's say, climb a couple of simple steps, or so that if Megan and I wanted to go somewhere and it wasn't accessible, that we could take my portable wheelchair and I could walk up the steps to get in, that kind of thing. I'd also like to get into, for those kind of things, I would like to get into a different non-electric type wheelchair that I wheel myself, that's smaller, that would go in the car. So that's kind of a goal too. Michelle has one, and I want to test it and see. Like, she has a bigger size one that would probably fit me. Yeah. And then that would give me a lot more flexibility.
That's a good idea.
Because if I had a wheelchair like that the wheels come off of it, and then the body folds up, and it'll go in like the back seat of your car,
Which
or
is
the passenger side. Yeah.
Which is nice.
Which would mean that me with the car, I could drive myself around.
Yeah.
And actually go in places. The only problem with it is there are certain places that, the ramp may be too steep, or if you're on a hill, it's going to be hard. Because I know I've watched Michelle struggle at places like the town office, for example, has this big, long, steep ramp. And I know, like, the ramps at the library, I'd never be able to do those on my own. Not without a lot of practice.
Right.
So, yeah, the goal would be to be able to walk enough so that I could, get around if I had to. Obviously, I'm not going to be walking marathons. But, and then to use the chair for what I need. You know, like if I'm going on a long outing or whatever and I need the chair.
Yeah.
What about you?
So, I guess you talked about health updates, so I'll start there. In 5 years, I think, obviously I'd like to either be pregnant or have a kid. I would ideally like to have already had a child.
I see too.
Do you?
I see too.
And the thing is, I don't even know if I'm allowed, or not that I'm allowed.
I just feel like you're going to have back-to-backs.
Yeah, I don't know whether they are going to want to give me a hysterectomy right away. That's the only thing, because of my condition.
Don't allow that.
Yeah.
You'll regret it. I did.
Yeah, I don't know about that piece. That's the only part that would, for sure I want one. Well, I would like two, because the only thing about, or more, like I'd be fine with more. The only thing I think about with one is that I am close with my siblings. So, like,
and Richard is close with his.
Yeah, and It's just that, like, when me and Richard become old, or like death, or like, you know, like when big things happen, at least they would have like a partner in crime.
Yep.
You know, like as long as things go smoothly. But
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have always thought that you and Rich would have 2 kids,
yeah.
and it would be 2 girls.
See, I think I'm gonna boys.
No, I've always thought about. I don't know. I see
Although-
Richard with a little girl.
Do you know what? It's funny that you say that, because I did have a dream 2 nights ago, 3 nights ago, and I can't remember anything other than there was a little girl involved. So maybe I will have a girl.
I don't know. I just feel like you're gonna have 2, and you're gonna have them back to back, like, and that you're gonna get pregnant on your own.
Yeah, I'm really like that is one thing I'm really manifesting, is that like.
Me too. I pray for it
Yeah.
every night.
So I think that for a health update, that would basically be it.
Is it bad that I lay in bed and think that you're home doing it? I'm like, I hope she's home doing it.
I know.
I almost sent you a message the other day. I'm like, I hope she's home doing it. Should I send her a message?
Well, that's the one thing I'm really excited. Like with the cruise, there's no dog. Like there's no Oliver. So that's
The
gonna be
privacy
so-
aspect.
Exactly, and like
Who's taking care of Oliver? Oh, Kennel.
no, Andrew.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, because Andrew's not going on this one.
No, so he's gonna just stay at the house.
Very nice.
I know, thank goodness.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Oliver could have came here with me.
oh god. Yeah, he probably would have liked that. Yeah, so I think that would be it for health, like physical health. Just that, you know, everything keeps going smoothly, that I eventually do become mom.
You will be a mom.
Yeah.
Whether it be through the traditional means or another means, you will
That's
be
true.
a mom.
Yeah. Because I would like to foster at some point.
That's another thing that I
Should
think
we
you
do?
and Rich would be really good at.
I'd love to foster. Like, I see us fostering as soon as we move out into our own house.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see us fostering for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you end up with foster fails.
Yeah.
That you would end up with that child.
Yeah.
So I mean that's a great thing.
Yeah.
Especially where you have no limits on how many children you'd like to
Right.
like
yeah, no, I
good.
don't have any limits on that. Yeah.
that's awesome.
So what else? What other realm were you thinking of? So we did physical health.
Yeah. Mental health, I'd like to be really strong. I'd like to not I'd like to get off some of these meds, to be truthful.
Oh, okay.
That would be a goal. Would be to try and, well, now that I'm in a stable place and I'm more in nature and I'm more, it might
Yeah.
not be, I might not be as depressed and as, anxious as normal. I
Okay.
guess it's kind of hard to know right now, but that would be a goal, would be to get off some of these meds.
Okay, so within 5 years, or at the 5-year mark, less medication.
Less
thinking
medication,
now?
more herbal meds, and less pharmaceutical meds.
Okay.
It's so weird to sit here and think, because if you think about how things in our lives have changed in the last 5 years, think about the immense changes we went through, like with COVID and it was almost like going through war, really.
Yeah.
And the isolation and all
Yeah,
the weird things.
I know.
That was something that we'll never.
We'll never forget.
And then the shooting, and I
Oh,
mean,
Portapic, yeah.
Yeah, we've
Yep.
had so much in the last 5 years that it's just looking forward to think if things like that happen again in the next 5 years. I don't think I'll be getting off any mental health meds.
I hope it doesn't happen. I mean, it's
I-
certainly possible.
I feel like there's going to be, especially with the political things the way they are
Yeah.
right now,
Yeah.
in all countries, not just ours. I feel like there's a possibility of war within the next 5 years.
Yeah.
I don't know what that looks like.
That's a scary thought.
It is a very scary thought.
But I do actually agree with you on that, because because there is so much, like, worldwide, really, like.
Oh, it's worldwide. It
Yeah.
has nothing to do with. It's not just us and our local politics or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's every country. It's every state. Everybody's feeling the pinch all over the world.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of YouTubers from a lot of different places in the world, and they're all in the same situation, and they're all experiencing homelessness. They're all experiencing, like, food shortages and high prices
Yeah.
of food, and just,
Yeah.
so if that continues, that'll be kind of scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope that doesn't happen.
So less
Oh,
meds.
You mentioned when you move out, so is that a plan
Oh.
within the 5 years?
Yeah, so when we get back from the trip, I do think that, like, we are gonna be seriously, like, looking, like, or at least starting the process of, like, saving, or like, getting our credit scores in a place where we want them to be, like, all of, like, that finance stuff. So yeah, within it might take 5 years, but the goal is, like, when we get back from this cruise, that's where we're gonna start really, like, okay, we really need to, like, focus.
And hopefully, for your sake, I hope the real estate market falls. Like, I really
I
do.
know, because that's the thing, right?
Well, and historically, that's what happens. It rises and it falls, and it rises and it falls.
Yeah.
It's been traditionally that way. So I'm hoping that the real estate market falls, because for
Yeah.
both you and, like, Leo wants to purchase as well. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good for him.
yeah, he would like to either get a piece of land or, like, a
Yeah.
house here.
Good for him.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I think that's cool.
Yeah, I think it's time to kind of move out and move on, type of thing. So I definitely, that's for sure in our plans.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys have grown so much in your relationship or in your, even your personal selves.
yeah.
You've grown so much in the last couple of years. It's just,
Yeah. And I think too, like, I'm blessed, because you often do hear people that are like, ugh, the in-laws are coming. Like, you do hear a lot of that kind of stuff. And so I am blessed to have in-laws that I really do love and
Yes.
care about, and we get along and everything. But at the end of the day, it is like 4 adults living together.
which is never good.
Which, I mean, certainly could have its which does have its pros, but then also has the cons. So, like, yeah, I think that's definitely within the 5 years.
Yeah.
There was something I was gonna ask. Oh, besides medication, is there anything mental health wise that you would see different in 5 years?
I know there are a couple of things that would probably improve my mental health, but they're not very nice things, and they're not things I would like to share.
Oh, fair enough. Okay. Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah.
For my mental health, I feel like I would like to still be, like, the job that I have now, I wouldn't mind still being there. Like, I would like to see myself still within the agency, because I do quite like it. And the job that I currently have is it can be stressful, but it is not, certainly not as stressful as other positions. So I'm really blessed that way to have the position, have, like, a good crew.
Is there a possibility of doing a split thing where you would work for the agency and work for yourself? Is that a possibility?
Well, so the thing is, I don't know about that. But the thing is, within the next 5 years, I do want to start doing some counseling. So, like, I could, within the next 5 years, potentially be looking at, like, having my own practice or something like that, which would be cool. A lot of people do work full-time, like, with the agency, for example, and then do, like, have, like, side clients. Like, we'll see. Yeah, like, on the weekends and stuff. So I could do that.
Yeah.
If I wanted to. But I definitely, I'd want to I think I'm good with where I'm at right now as far as like employment. So I think I'd like, even with the next 5 years, like I'd be okay, content where I am,
Yeah.
which is nice.
Yeah.
Which is like, yeah.
Yeah, because you're of the age where this is traditionally where if people are going to make career moves, this is when they do it. Mm-hmm. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, you just made a pretty big choice and,
Yeah.
and got yourself into that. So,
Yeah. I think mental health wise, like, I want to really, over the next little while, really kind of understand my different diagnosis, like the different ones that I have, like truly understand them.
that's something I would really like to.
Yeah.
I'd really like to have some, I don't know if it's something to read or something to watch or something with a reputable source.
For sure, that's key.
Yeah. Because I mean, you can go on TikTok or Facebook Reels or whatever, and you'll see a million different things for every
Right.
mental health diagnosis. And if you listen to that, then you would have everything.
Everything under the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to have an opportunity to really delve into the mental health diagnoses that I have and how it affects me and how it makes me tick. And
Yeah, I just think it's interesting because I feel like when you know, like when you get that diagnosis, you kind of can understand better your behaviors or your reactions and stuff. And was I telling you that it might have been Emma, that I've started, there's one diagnosis which we haven't shared and I'm not ready to share yet, but like where if I have a reaction and I think it is that, like I think it's that condition, like I've almost separated like that behavior.
well, I generally, if I feel like it's that behavior, I ask you.
Yeah.
And you're great for that bouncing. Like sometimes I'll be in a situation, and Megan and I both do share a diagnosis that we're not ready to share.
Yeah.
And a lot of times there are issues that come up, and a lot of times I will say, Megan, what do you think of this? Like,
Yeah.
did I respond correctly, or was this,
That. Yeah, because there was I was actually, I think, with Richard, I can't remember the like context of it, but like we were disagreeing on something, and I was leaving for work, and he had his office door closed or whatever. Normally he has it open, like normally, like because he was working from home that day or whatever. And so I went downstairs, and in my head I'm like thinking, well, then I'm just gonna text him. Hopefully I make it to work okay, since you didn't say goodbye, like, right? So, but again, that is like super defensive, reactive, manipulative, really, like truly, right? You're playing on someone's emotions. And so in my head, I'm like, okay, that is blank.
Whereas, I mean, here's playing the devil's advocate. He could have been taking an important call from his employer.
Exactly.
He could have been on the phone with the customer. He could have, a million different things. Could have happened.
Yeah. So my first reaction is that, right? Like I just get really amped up, and so then I say, okay, this is blank. This is my blank monster, right? So
I do the same thing.
Yeah, so you're like talking yourself through, right? Like, this is my blank monster. I am not going to react in this way. I'm just going to get my stuff, go to work, let him know when I get to work, that sort of thing. So once you get that diagnosis, you really do start realizing, and you can start to separate, of course, mental health is so complex that like a behavior might not be just solely based on one diagnosis, but it could be a variety of things, but sometimes you can differentiate the things.
Sometimes it's very easy to connect the dots.
Yes, very easy to connect the dots.
You talked about possibly you guys buying a house. Where do you think you would like to live? Don't say Dartmouth.
No. So you know what? The true Megan and me literally just wants to like pack up and move to Europe. That's what I would love to do.
Can I come along?
Well, that's kind of like I'm one thing that we both share is that like I've been in Nova Scotia for
We love to
so
travel.
long. We love to travel, and I'm also like
It's time for change.
time for change. Yeah. So like when I had that, I went up. I up and moved to Newfoundland, and then when I had that Newfoundland, I moved back here.
But that's also,
Yeah, exactly.
and that was me. I spent my whole life running away
yeah.
from everything until I couldn't anymore.
Yeah. And that's kind of what it's like. It feels like there's this almost like
But
craving.
that's part of the diagnosis.
Yeah. Like, cause it is like, it's like a craving just for something new.
And that when I said on the last podcast about, you know, being always packed up and ready to go
Go.
in Belize, that was me because that's what I did.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that stimulated that thing in me that, you know,
Yeah.
let's go somewhere different. Let's see
go-
something different. I'm
Let's
tired
see-
of this.
Yeah. Let's have a fresh start where I can start over. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
But here's the key, and this is experience talking.
Mm.
You can start over a million different places,
Yeah.
but that little green monster is going to travel in your bag wherever
that is
the
true.
F you go.
That is, no, and that is so true. That is so true.
The little monster loves
Yeah.
to travel too.
Yeah, and you can't, and the thing is, you can't run away. Not that I'm, like, in this particular point, not
No.
that I'm trying to run away from my problems, quote unquote, but it's just that
It's
that
a sense inside of you. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And it's an urge that's really hard to curb.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if Tammy had money, Tammy would be traveling, even if I was in this chair, because
yeah,
I would.
yeah, yeah. Okay, where would I want to live? Like, in
Yeah,
Nova
like where would
Scotia?
you like to start looking for a house?
I honestly, like, I see Enfield to Stewiacke. Like, that's kind of where I would go. Possibly Debert. Like, I wouldn't close myself off to Debert, but I think it would be nice. Honestly, Stewiacke. I kind of like Stewiacke. It's close enough to Truro, but not too far away, but it's also really close to the city. Like,
Yeah.
you're kind of in the middle. Shuby would be nice. Yeah. I think, like, that range. I definitely want to get out of the village. Like,
Properties, well, unless you're going to Elmsdale and Enfield, those areas are high.
Expensive,
Yeah.
yeah.
But like Stewiacke and Shuby are more rural, so your properties are going to be larger and less expensive. So
Yeah,
you might,
yeah.
depending on what you're looking for, but
Yeah.
generally that's the case.
and, like, I wouldn't even mind Debert, really. I feel like a little bit closer to Truro. And definitely closer to the city. I think Stewiacke or like, that would be a sweet spot. Yeah. Although we're pretty open to, I definitely don't want to live in the city again. That's definitely out for me, and I know that's out for Richard.
Yeah.
Like,
I
I grew up born
agree
and
with
raised
that.
in the city, and I wouldn't go back. Like,
Yeah.
you know, not that I hated growing, like, it is easy because you're around everything, but
But it's kind of nice being far enough away that when you go into the city, it's a treat.
yeah.
You know, like
Well, this is it, right?
right, like
yeah.
it's a treat to go to, let's say, Costco, or it's a treat to go to Gateway, or you
Yeah.
know what I mean, like,
Yeah.
or a treat to go visit your parents.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Instead of like
definitely-
having them in your backyard and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely.
Personally,
Yeah.
I don't want you to go anywhere.
I know.
Well, I mean, not that I don't want you. I understand the need to have your own home. I get that.
Yeah.
But I hope you stay closer. I hope you pick DeBert or
yeah. Yeah.
somewhere
And I guess
else.
that
And I mean, that's
depend.
just me personally.
Yeah. There's also places like North River.
Oh yeah, all around here, Onslow.
Yeah, Onslow wouldn't be a bad spot, really.
You're close to the highway here.
Yeah, yeah. So there is spots in and around here to go to. Yeah, and I definitely want. I don't want like any stairs. I just want it to be.
It's
one
funny
floor.
because I have noticed since COVID, and I don't know what this has to do with COVID, but it just seems since COVID, the buildings seem to be all being built on concrete slabs. Their basements seem to be a thing of the
Really?
past. Yeah. Any of the new builds I see are one level, no
Yeah.
stairs.
See, and that is the way.
And it's so smart.
It is the way to go.
Because you can buy your house and live in it for the rest of your life.
Exactly. It is the way to go. It is totally
And you never
the way
need to
go.
worry about if you have, like, if I want to come over.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Exactly.
there's a million things that, I mean, accessibility opens it up for everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, so I definitely like a one story.
Yeah.
Do you think there will be flying cars in 5 years?
Yes.
Oh my god, that'd be so cool.
Yes. I think we're just on the brink of a lot of weird shit that we're going to go, like,
Do you think?
I do. Along with this, like, chaotic society and chaotic government and everything that's going on. I think there's people that have, I think those flying cars already exist. And I think there's people just standing in the wings waiting for things, like waiting for the opportunity to allow things in.
Huh.
I also believe that we're probably going to have visitation from different planets.
Do you think? A lot of people have been talking about that
I
recently.
do. I mean, especially not because what is it? They do the Mars visits now, like a lot.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting. I think that we're probably going to learn a lot more about the planets in the next 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah, I do see a lot of posts about that, like on Facebook and stuff.
I'd love,
Like people
I'd
asking-
love to meet somebody from another planet.
Do you think? I'd be terrified.
No, I wouldn't. I would love that. I think that life that's out there, I don't think it's scary, and I don't think it's out to hurt us.
No.
I think that they're probably just like not necessarily just like us, but I think there's probably societies out there or cultures or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Just like there's things all over this world, why wouldn't there be life on
Yeah.
other planets?
Yeah, it's kind of cool to think about, like, what, because so many things have changed in the last 5 years. I mean,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So,
And I mean, think about technology, how quickly now technology is changing like on a dime. Like you can't even keep up as
No.
far as like phones and
Yeah.
computers and things like that. You can buy something today and 2 months later they've got
A
two
new
different
one.
styles.
Yeah.
You know, of something.
oh, that's interesting. I wonder, like, the flying cars would be cool. Like, if that ever happens.
Oh, I think it will. And I think that it's only a matter of time before the airline situation goes, like, people go to private flying vehicles to,
Oh my gosh, that's true.
yeah. And that is going to eliminate. Now, I do believe that this will be for the rich and famous. I don't think Megan is going to be getting a flying vehicle anytime soon.
No, it'll
But,
be like the electric car. Because remember, at one point, the electric cars were totally unattainable.
Yeah.
And now they're just like
they're-
every other car.
Yes.
Or similar.
But yeah, I guess maybe I'm crazy, but I just feel like that's going to happen. I feel like a lot of things are going to happen. I feel like we're just on the like the cusp of
of it.
something big.
You
I mean,
feel it in your bones.
yeah, and I mean, I've been Gen Xers. We've been through so many changes and seen so many things.
That's true.
Like I was saying on the last podcast, I was the first student to use a computer, not the first student, but first class to use computers at business college. And now think about how, I mean, I was 19, so that was like a long time ago.
Yeah, and I mean,
30 years ago.
exactly. And I think about when I was in high school and like having to text with, you know,
I know, the 111.
111, 2222, whatever. Yeah. And now it's like they've got glasses where they got like Google in the glasses.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
You know, like, so it has, even in my day, like, has, even for millennials, like, it's really
There's
progressed.
been yeah.
Yeah, like from Razor phones and Blackberries to iPhones.
Mm-hmm.
I like from Discmans,
Yep.
cassette players to Discmans.
Cassette players to disc. Well, actually, for
Discmans.
me, it was records. It was records and then cassettes and then CDs.
Yeah, Discmans, and then all of a sudden like an iPod.
And then it was like everybody wanted iTunes and you know, for music. And you think about how quickly things have changed.
Yeah. So it will be interesting to see, like, as far as the world goes.
What really I have noticed, because I watch a lot of vloggers that have babies, the equipment when you have a baby now is insane.
What do you mean, Leah?
Like, they have cameras that detect the breathing of the child.
Oh,
and, you know, like,
yes,
there's
yeah.
so many digital gadgets and strollers with warming things. You know, like, there's a million. It's just incredible, the things that they have now that you can use.
Yeah.
One thing that really got me was these hands-free breast pumps that you can put on, and you can wear them while you're, like,
Oh, yeah.
at work or doing
Yeah.
other things. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Back in my day, when I had to try to pump in the bathroom at work, which was totally gross, it was this big, gigantic monster of a machine that you had
Yeah.
to plug in and made a... That's what it sounded like.
Oh, my God.
And you could hear it would go whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. You know?
Oh, my... Yeah.
It sounded like a milking machine for a cow. And now they've got, like, these things that you literally just bloop, and the little bottles hang down here and fill up. And the woman was, like, shutting the little thing off, unscrewing the bottle and putting a new bottle on and going about her business. And I'm just like...
I can't believe that.
Yeah.
No, I know.
That's a question for you. Would you breastfeed? I say no.
Yeah, I probably not.
I knew that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not overly opposed to it, but I'm not one for pain, and I know it can be quite painful. But
I breastfed and I didn't have pain.
yeah, but I would also, I don't know, I feel like it's such a bonding experience
It is.
that, like, I'd want both of us to have that. I guess you could breastfeed and then also bottle feed.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And if you're pumping,
Yeah.
you can pump and he can feed the baby with the bottle.
Yeah. Like, that's what I would
And the
want.
other thing is a lot
Us
of
to both have that.
yeah, and a lot of men now are doing that when they're feeding the child. They're no shirt, so that they're skin to skin.
See, that's so important.
Yeah.
That is so important.
Especially when they're newborn. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not fussy. Truthfully, I'm not fussy either way. Chances are I probably will just do formula, but we'll see when the time comes. I'm not, I don't know if I have, like, a real strong opinion on either. Yeah. Some people do. Some people really have a strong opinion. But
I don't know why. I just figured you wouldn't. I just it doesn't seem like your jam.
no, I don't.
It's funny. Certain people, like, you think that they would be all,
Yeah.
it's weird.
Yeah.
I wonder, really, what the future will be like. Be interesting if there were flying cars. Imagine, and you could get in a flying car and I could fly out to Edmonton and
know.
see 20, or I could fly to
I know.
Belize. Imagine.
I know.
But imagine how unattainable that would be price-wise, because in 5 years it's
Well,
not gonna
yeah. And that's the thing, in, like, 5 years, is it going to be, are there
I
going to
think
be
the
gas
rich and-
vehicles and stuff?
That's the other thing. I think that we're going to see some really hard changes when it comes to stuff like that. And I think it's going to happen very quickly.
Yeah.
And I think that we're not going to be ready for it, and it's going to cause chaos and chaotic society.
Living in chaos.
Well, I think the whole world is in chaos right now. I just feel like that.
So maybe in 5 years, everything will be just complete and utter peace.
What I would love
Doubtful.
I would love to, as a Baha'i, we believe that this was meant to happen, and that the world will break down,
Yeah.
and that a new world will come up, and the new world that will come up will be, there will be one common language, there will be no borders.
Oh,
You know,
interesting.
that's what we believe. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, though.
It would be interesting because it's really so unfair that just because you're born, say, in Africa, and I'm born in Canada, I can travel to so many countries more than you can because I was born in Canada. And it's really unfair.
Right.
And
And I
these
mean,
countries opposing people from other countries to come in just because of the country they come from.
Yeah. Yeah, that is hard. And I mean, I know you have like that personal like attachment to that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
I just wish that there were no borders
yeah. Yeah.
and that people could just go where they wanted to.
Yeah. And just be. Yeah. The world would certainly look different.
I'd like to see a different justice system that worked more on the indigenous teachings.
Yeah.
That I just think there's opportunities if things do fall apart. I think that there's opportunities for the world to come back together in a better manner.
Yeah, to rebuild better.
Better.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And it's funny because I think in some ways people like you and me and people who have foresight like this, I think that there's a reason for that. And I think that will be important when or if things fall apart. Look at me putting us as important. But I think it's important that if you can see that and you can, like if the world falls apart, like literally, if World War III starts or whatever, I'm not going to be surprised.
Yeah.
I won't be like, boo, like because, no, but seriously, I mean, it won't surprise me.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like we're preparing for it, like, in some ways.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, yeah, no, I definitely think that, I definitely agree that I feel it in my bones. There is something on the cusp, whether it's positive or negative. I do feel that there is like a shift, and I'm sure anyone who's listening to this right now also probably feels that there is these shifts that are happening. And I do hope that these shifts are for the better.
Third eye open.
Yeah, well, this is exactly right.
Yeah.
I do hope things are for the better, and that, you have to go through hard things oftentimes
to get the good things.
To get the good things, or for growth. And so I'm hoping that this is what this is. It's growth as society, as
the world.
Yeah. And so in 5 years, I don't know, as far as the political climate, as far as the social climate, like all of that stuff, I don't know what that looks like, but I'm hoping that, there is some growth there. There are conversations there that are happening. No, that's interesting. Anything else for you personally for the next 5 years? We want to have a goal of going to Mexico.
Yeah.
That's kind of something we want to put in the universe, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to travel, and that would be where, it would either be there or to C20.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know how I guess I have to just put it out in the universe because I don't know how I would make that happen on my own. So,
the universe works in mysterious ways.
Universe, take my little wish for that one trip and make it happen.
Works in mysterious ways.
I was thinking yesterday, how much money would I have to save and how would I do that? And, like all of those things. And I was thinking, but then the negative Tammy came in the background and was tapping me on the shoulder and reminding me that, this is the only amount of money you get every month, and and you need to spend this on this and this and this and this and this, and everything has to go here, and you can't, and it's not attainable, and you might as well just stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
And that's the rabbit hole I went to.
That's fair, honestly.
Yeah. But then, then I had the other talk, which is the self-growth talk of me, that you've done a lot harder things than that in your life, and you can make that happen.
Yeah. I know you well enough to know that you will make it happen. If you
it just has to be the right time. Like I'm trying to avoid traveling in this chair. Is the problem.
Yeah.
I'm trying to avoid traveling while I can't walk.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. Yeah, I don't think there's much more that I would have to say within the next... I did find out yesterday. So they were thinking that my aunt was diagnosed with, front temporal lobe dementia. I think it's called frontal temporal lobe. I think frontal. So anyway, it's one of those. It's like early onset, but it turns out she actually has a very, very, very rare form of Alzheimer's, like super rare. They say one person out of 100 people who have Alzheimer's get this. So it's very rare. So anyway, I think within the next 5 years, I'd like to make a decision on whether I want to get like genetic testing done and just to see what my future holds that way. It's not a guarantee though, right? Like when you do it, it's not like if you have the gene doesn't necessarily mean it's going to impact you.
And for me, I am so torn on that because
Me too.
Yes, it's great to know, but then if it comes back and it's not something good, then you're going to worry about it, and is that
Right.
going to affect your health?
Right.
Right? So yeah.
It's such a big decision. So I say in the next 5 years, that's something I want to think about too. So yeah. So here's to hoping that there is going to be flying cars and aliens as our neighbors, and that we're all going to be just
Living in a peaceful world.
living in a peaceful world in our
In the new world.
home and babies and no chair.
That's right. Grammy Tammy wants to be out of the chair. The only chair I want to be sitting in is a rocking chair. I want to be rocking Megan's baby.
And with that, we love you. Mwah.
Sunshine in the sky, Megan and Tammy here to testify, spreading love, laughter and good vibes too. The Fat Girl Chronicles, we're breaking through. No more hiding, no more feeling small. We're taking up space, standing proud and tall. Our voice is strong, our stories to be heard, challenging the stereotypes, flipping the world, the chronicles of